intelligence officer. As the security intelligence officer, I have duties of updating the weather and next uniform day. After high school, I plan to go to ROTC, and after that, I plan on enlisting in the Army or going to the Marines. Still do not know yet. With the CIP project, I was not yet promoted at the time, but I did help float around and do multiple tasks. Normally, the S2 would supervise cadets and their class grade.
Good morning, Sergeant. I am Cadet First Lieutenant Guy Parkerson. I'm the S4 Logistics and Supply. My plans after high school is to enlist into the Navy for 20 years and be a CV. I'm already enlisted. And then for my project, or my assignment during this project was to take charge of the annex and make sure it was properly cleaned.
Good morning, sir. I'm Cadet First Lieutenant Brooklyn Shufflebine. I'm currently the S5, also known as the Public Affairs Officer. A couple things I do for the Corps is take pictures of all the events and use those pictures for a monthly newsletter. My plan after high school is to enroll in a flight attendant school and then pursue a career as a flight attendant. My role in the project was to take pictures of our Corps' progress.
Good morning, sir. I'm Cadet First Lieutenant Parker Spear. I'm Battalion S6. I run our MPs and our military ball. After high school, I plan to attend Millikan University for Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater with a dance concentration. I was in driver's ed during the project, but normally the S6 would oversee using the leadership role as a staff member to keep work flowing.
And I'll be followed by our BC to discuss the battalion mission. This is our higher headquarters mission, that being the school district. This is their mission they posted on their website. You can take a moment to read it if you would like, sir. The Greenwood Battalion conducts continuous improvement project no later than the 1st of March 2025 here at Mattoon High School to increase participation and esprit de corps. I'll now be followed by our XO Jackson Allen. Identifying our problem, our impression of the core from the outside wasn't what we wanted it to be. The flagpole base wasn't giving off as a well-kept perception as we wanted it to be. We had misarranged rocks, the flower bed underneath was showing, and it was overgrown with weeds. This could give observers the wrong impression about our core and its pride. Our outside stairwell wasn't giving as much of an inviting or welcoming impression as we wanted. Our supply was inefficient. Our S4 took too long to issue out supplies to incoming cadets. This was due to us receiving new equipment such as drone systems, rifles, and archery targets. We have a quote confirming, research confirming our need for improvement. An article published by BMC Medical states that students' perceptions of the educational environment significantly influenced emotional engagement, meaning for our cadets, the environment they're in directly correlates to the amount of engagement and participation they put in the Corps. Therefore, we wanted our environment to be more engaging so the cadets would put in more participation and take pride in their Corps. More data is our S4 took on average 45 minutes to assign uniforms to incoming cadets, and getting event supplies required digging through a lot of other gear in the way. This was due to the disorganization and clutter with all the new equipment we received. The paint on the outside entry well was getting worn and chipped, and the flagpole was overgrown. We wanted to improve this image of our Corps. These are skills from level 1 through 4 that we use throughout this project. Some involve decision making, problem solving, leadership, managing, and other skills that would help us maintain our goal. Our team goals were to streamline the supply process, ensuring our S4 can find and issue equipment quickly and more efficiently, improving the appearance of our core and its facilities, as well as improving emotional and physical engagement within our cadets and giving them a sense of ownership in the Corps. I'll now be followed by Guy Parkerson, our S4.
This is going to be our first goal, streamlining the supply process. I'm going to be going over our SMART goals. Our first objective is going to be lowering the issuing time and making the flow of movement in the supply room and annex a lot easier. For this to be specific, we're going to reorganize the supply room and the annex. In order to make this all happen, we're just going to we're going to streamline the whole issuing process and make it a lot easier for me, the S4, to grab new items. This is going to be measurable. The time required to issue new items to cadets will be timed, so that's how we'll find out if it's reduced or not. This will be obtainable because we received the shelving beforehand of the CIP as well as the totes. We also planned this ahead of time. We planned this to separate it into 2 separate weeks to make it a lot easier, as well as we picked out the people that we would want for the job. This is going to be relevant because it's going to decrease a lot of the clutter. Adding more space and shelving will make it a lot easier for us to add more room and put new things. The timeline of this project was going to be the 22nd through the 26th of April for the supply room, and for the annex it was the 21st through 25th of October. This is going to be the timeline of the project. Throughout April, we took out all of the supplies and deconstructed the shelving and reconstructed the new ones. Once we took all the supplies out, we put the old supplies into the new totes, making it a lot easier for us to move things around, and then finally put the totes back into the supply room. Throughout October, we removed all of the clothes, fixing the tubing. We lowered and raised it to make it a lot easier to grab things. We sweeped and cleaned the annex. We removed the totes and swept under them and then put them back. And then we started to put away all the clothes for the last few days. Throughout October, me and my assistant have been, October from now, me and my assistant have still been labeling and organizing supplies to make sure it stays on top. So to make sure we stay on top of it. This is the supply room beforehand, where we're still working on it as well. And then this is the supply room after. As you can tell, it looks a lot better, as well as it's easier to flow through. It's a lot more organized. And then this is going to be the annex room beforehand and during. And then this is going to be the annex room after, where it looks a lot better and organized. I'm gonna hand this off to our Cadet Command Sergeant Major, Denver Birch.
This is our second SMART goal. Our objective was to improve the Corps' appearance and increase morale throughout the Corps. Specifically, we repainted the stairwell outside with murals and cleaned up the flagpole base area. We were able to measure success through compliments received from school staff, students, and visitors, plus an increase in participation after this project. It was attainable because we allocated enough resources and people to get the job done on time. It's relevant because cleaning and repainting makes our core appearance look a lot more professional and more welcoming to other people. The timeline was the 21st through the 25th of October this school year. This is our project timeline for our second goal. On the first day, we divided the classes into 2 groups, each led by an upperclassman leader. Then we started cleaning the project areas. On the second day, the first group was cleaning out the stairwell and sweeping and placing tarps where they were going to paint. And then the second group was cleaning and disposing of trash that they found around the area. On the third day, the first group started to repaint the stairwell with a base coat of gray. And then the second area used leaf blowers and started weeding out the area. On the fourth day, our first group started painting the murals on the stairwell, and the second group was leveling out rocks to cover the entire flagpole base area. On the fifth and final day, the first group touched up the murals as needed and let the paint dry, and while the second group was storing supplies for the projects. These are some pictures taken for our second project. On the left, you can see our areas before we had done this project. The paint was very chipped and it was worn out, while there were weeds surrounding our flagpole base area. In the middle, we have in the progress pictures of us coating the walls with gray and us cleaning up trash. And on the right, this is our completed photos with the new arc pins and the words on the window wells with a much cleaner, better looking flagpole area. I will now be followed by our BC for the complete.
In conclusion, sir, I believe that we fulfilled the battalion mission within time parameters. We've seen progress in our time to issue out equipment and uniforms, and our participation in core events such as the MAT 10 patrol. What I would do differently next year is I would start a little bit earlier in the year so we can get a head start on our projects. And what I think went well this year is splitting up into groups so we can divide and conquer our different projects. Any questions?
I think we're gonna have some comments. You guys wanna go first? Any comments that you have?
Just kind of looking back at some slides, right? You, like your higher HQ mission,
Go back to,
did you guys make these slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I would do for the future, right, for your next year, I would just simply put higher HQ mission on the slide, okay? We can all read. We don't need you to read it to us, so at that point, you just put higher HQ mission on the slide, and then you have notes that state what it is. If you would like to read off your notes and tell us what the higher HQ mission is, that's fine, but, I don't need to sit here and read when you say, we'll give you a second to read the slide. Like, that's not a briefing, so I'm sure that you would follow that in the future.
Yes, sir.
But give a brief summary.
yeah, so the important thing with higher headquarters mission is how our mission, what's called nests with it, right? So what you need to pick out is like 1 or 2 things from here that you say, so, hey, school climate that's positive and conducive to learning, right? So that is what our mission is going to be. That's what we're improving with this continuous improvement project, right? To show that our mission, when you go to the next slide, falls, it nests, it falls into that higher headquarters mission.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, so like, what about the data supporting or needs to, improvement. Like, I would, yeah, see, go back one. There, don't skip over it, cause when you guys were going through your slides, you hit something like this and you, whoop, right off, you just move through it. If you don't need it, then just delete the slide, okay? But at least stop on every slide that you have. The data gathered indicates need for improvement. It looked like there was a lot of, in the beginning at least it seemed, until you guys showed some improvement on how you solved issues, it looked like S4 was getting a lot of blame on failures, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so like, I would look at that and say, okay, why are they failing? Do we need to increase support in the S4? You know, is it a funding issue? If it's a funding issue, you guys don't really have much control over that, but is it a personnel issue? Do we need to allocate from other, shops in order to help them succeed more?
Go one more.
Yep, that one. See right there, it says like S4 took an average of 45 minutes to issue uniforms. Would that have been something you could have just added a second person to? Could S6 have helped S2? Could anybody else have just jumped in real quick and helped them with some support? Okay.
Question, why did it take 45 minutes?
That's the real question, why did it do that,
Really, that's four, why does it take 45 minutes?
I was with the S4 at the time when we did this.
You've been on that's for the whole year.
Not when we did the supply room, when we did that annex.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the core yet.
I wasn't in the Corps, I was a junior that year. It was in April.
Okay, so then, prior S4, why did it happen? Was there a back brief with the old S4 when you took over? Like,
We used the last S4.
was there a back brief between you two saying, okay, here's our current hurdles that we have? It's taking too long to issue things. We're trying to work into the solution. Do you have any ideas? You know what I mean? So that'd be a back brief, like a left seat, right seat, when you change positions, right? So you wanna try to understand what your downfalls are and overcome those. So that way we don't have something like this where it's like, well, it's S4's fault, right? That's all I heard was a lot of blame being thrown at S4. Obviously, towards the end of your guys' slides, you did show like, hey, here's how we started to solve these things, right? It wouldn't hurt to have that in this slide say, hey, the problem was S4 was taking 45 minutes to issue uniforms. We did mitigate this by X, Y, Z, right? As you'll see further to the slides.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
So the other question I have about the flagpole area. Right? No, go back to where we had it. So who in the town is responsible for that area?
I'm not sure, sorry.
Well, I mean, what I'm getting at and everything, you guys say that was the problem. Who's responsible for it? Is it like the staff positions? Is it the company commanders? Is it the first sergeant? Like over the summer, who takes care of that out there? So, one part that's what I have, I was keeping this for this slideshow, just, if Linda was here, I wouldn't bring it up, cause it's just like, who's in charge of it? So it's just like, why did it get overgrown with weeds?
Is that a JROTC responsibility, or is that the school?
It should be the janitor, but.
They actually gave it
It's
to
our
us. I've been taking care of that place as best I can. I'm the one that put the plants in there every year, all that other good stuff. So it's just like, it's our area, that's the reason why they sort of let us use it as a, we got the rock put in there, it's like a cadet park. But I've been trying to get them to put that bench that's out there and there. Cause of the one from Chuck Neely, cause he was a former cadet guy, it's just like, well, cadet, you wanna do a cadet park, have it sitting in there. So, cause if they ever fix the flagpole, who's gonna be responsible for raising and lowering the flag every day?
Would it be the battalion commander or the first sergeant?
That's what I'm asking you guys, who would you have in charge of it? I'm not accusing you like, I'm just saying, who are you gonna put in charge of it?
It'd be the command sergeant major, because he's in charge of the color guards.
Okay,
Yeah, that's who I would say.
How would you get it so it's fair for everybody?
I feel like I feel like we should split up like the caretaking. It should be split up like in between like the staff. Like throughout the summer, we're clearly not here, so I think it should be split up like by weeks. So we could plan like ahead where staff can do it.
No, right now, I just wanna talk about the flagpole.
You could also do it with like captains, so whichever team captain was doing morning practice that day, they could raise the flag.
I'm talking during the school year.
Yeah, that works for the school year.
Right, but I'm
Essentially.
talking like from when we start school in August till May, what we can do, cause this is a cadet thing.
Mm.
So how do we get them involved? What plan would you take to get the battalion involved?
So you could have sign-up sheets, you could assign platoons, right? You could say, hey, first platoon, you've got this week, or you've got
That's
these couple of
exactly what I
days.
was getting to. I wanted you guys to come up with it, put the platoons in charge, and guess what? You want cadets to get involved in it, it's just like, there you go, it's like, hey, today, I gotta make sure I'm early enough to raise it, so it's not the same people all the time.
And that's a you thing, as the sergeant major, that is
Make up what we call
an
a duty
enlisted
roster.
thing. Where you're-
Sergeant major and first sergeant,
Yeah.
we get together and come up with a schedule, like, hey, which platoon has it which day? And then the platoon sergeants can be like, okay, first squad has it this day, second squad has it this day, third squad. Right, that would be a way to do it.
Thank you for pointing that out, Sergeant.
Okay, so I got some notes. Alright, when you were doing your introduction, some of you were better than others. You could tell who was a little bit more comfortable and who had practiced their spiel, right? So when you see, are you still recording?
Yes.
You can go ahead and shut down recording for this.